All right, guys, today we are doing spreadsheet activity number 11, which is sort of a continuation of the last one we did, which was actually pretty easy. So we're going to be using a new function today. So we learned how to use a formula last week, and this week we're going to be learning how to use something called a function. So make sure you read through all the directions. Hopefully you already did that if you're watching this video. And you should only use this video if you really need to. Most of you guys can do most of this work without the video. All right, so let me go ahead and open up the directions, and I'll zoom in a little bit on them. Okay, so if you remember last week, we learned how to take a list of numbers and use something called a formula, where we would use the equal sign, and we would say something like, A2 plus A3 plus A4 plus A5 sort of thing, and it would give us the answer of whatever those numbers were in those cells. But just like everything else, there are shortcuts, and I'm going to teach you guys the shortcut today, which is the sum function. So before you do this, make sure that you've read what's in this box right here. My assumption is that you are going to read about what the sum function is. Okay, it automatically will add up a list of numbers in a range of cells, and you have to tell them what the range is. So if you look up here, it says, they involve calculations. They automatically add the numbers found in a specified range of cells, and this is how you write it. So remember, you use the equal sign like we've been using, and we use the word sum, which, if you know from math, means the answer in an addition problem. Okay, so this one here says we're going to add up the numbers in cells A1 all the way to A5, which means if you read down here, it's rather than typing A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, the colon in between there indicates that you're going to add up all the cells in between A1 to A5. So that would be A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5. Okay, it's not case sensitive, so you can type it as a small a or b or whatever the letter happens to be. Okay, so here's an example. In your spreadsheet, in cell A1 through A5, just write these numbers down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, and I'm going to move this onto another page, and I'm going to have a blank spreadsheet. Let me zoom in on it here too. I'll zoom in on it really good. Okay, so we want to add these numbers. So we got 4, 6, 2, 7, 3. Okay. Now in cell A6, if you think about last week, we could just go equals this plus this plus this plus this plus this, right? And that would give you the right answer. So the answer is 22, and yeah, we used a formula to do it. But the shortcut using the sum function is you're going to start out the same way with the equal sign. This time you type the word sum, and then you need to use parentheses. So the parentheses would be opening parentheses, which is Shift 9. Then you want to type in A1 because that's the first one, and you can see it turns orange. Then you want to press colon, which is Shift, and then the colon is the two dots on top of each other, right? So the key to the right of the L key. So you're going to press Shift colon, and then you're going to press Shift 0 to get the closing. Whoop, I'm sorry, I missed a spot. Then we need to put in the last number in the list. So that would be cell A5, like that. And you can see it lights up all of these cells, which means all those cells are going to get added together. And then you have to close your parentheses. And then I hit enter, and I get the number 22, the same thing. So that's the shortcut. So sum colon, the opening cell, parentheses, the opening cell, a colon, the closing cell, and then the closing parentheses. So another shortcut, if you're paying attention, you can go equals sum, opening parentheses. Now this is a shortcut. Click on cell A1 and drag it down to cell A5, and look what it does. It does all that work for you. So you type in even less, and then hit enter, and you still get the same answer. Okay, so that is how you use the sum function. And what I'm going to be having you guys do is there's another way to do this as well. So I want to delete all of everything in these cells here. We're going to use something called the summation button. And you'll notice that there's a button right up here. It's a Greek letter, and it represents the sum. And this is what the functions are. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type in the numbers again. 4, 6, 2, 7, 3. And down here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the sum function. All right, sum. And now all it needs for me is to figure out which the cells are. So that's even a shorter way of doing this. Okay, so whoop, hit enter, and there we go. That time I didn't even have to touch the keyboard. So let me show you that one again. So these are the numbers we're adding up. This is where the answer is going to be. You go up to the functions button, select sum, and it puts it up there for you. Then you just click on the first cell, drag it down with your finger still on the button, the last cell, let it go, and that does the sum function for you. Okay? Now, so then I want you to do that for practice. Then when you're all done, you're going to open up the spreadsheet that I have for you, which looks like this. All right, so let me zoom in on this one. So here we go. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So total of columns. So I want you to add up all the numbers and put the answer down here. Add up all the numbers, put the answer down here. But you have to use the sum function. Okay. So if you look up here, it would be, and this is where it gets tricky. You got to remember what column you're in. So we always start out with equals. And then I'm going to use the sum function over here. Now, this is not column A, this is column B. So the first number is B1, and the last number is B6. Okay, so you have to remember that. I'm not going to do this one for you. You have to do that one on your own. So, whoop, I'm not going to finish this one. I'm having you guys finish that one. And then this one here, same thing, equals sum. And this time, it's going to be this cell, whatever this cell happens to be, colon, whatever this cell happens to be. I think you guys should be able to figure that out pretty easily. All right, then I want you to do one more column right here, and I want you guys to put in whatever numbers you want. Okay, so make them whole numbers, not decimal numbers, and make them numbers that are 3 or 4 digits, let's say. So fill in column D with 3 or 4 digit numbers. So, you could do something like this. Oh, I don't know why I keep getting into 800s. All right, so I just randomly put a list of numbers here, and I want to figure out the sum of these numbers. So equals sum, and then I want to add these numbers up. So it would be D1 to D6, closing parentheses, and then I would hit the enter button to get my answer. Okay, so the list in D is up to you. You guys make up your own numbers for that. All right, so it's pretty straightforward. You guys shouldn't have any problems with that. If you happen to have a problem with it, send me a text or send me a private message on Google Classroom. Good luck.